Jump seater ingested psychedelic mushrooms. Update on the Horizon flight hijack on this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and this episode is sponsored by Clemens Insurance. When I called Jerry for the first time, he saved me over $1,000. Give him a call at clemensinsurance.net. On to the news. Okay, late Sunday night, October 22nd, Horizon Embraer 175 with 84 people on board made an emergency landing at Portland International, PDX. The flight had taken off from Seattle and was headed for San Francisco. Aboard the plane in the cockpit jump seat was Joseph David Emerson, 44, and a pilot for Alaska Airlines. He had upgraded to captain in 2019. Emerson was heading to San Francisco to captain a 737 for Alaska. Unknown to anyone on board, Emerson apparently hadn't slept in 40 hours, and while sitting in the jump seat, he engaged in casual conversation with the flight crew, the court documents revealed. Now, Alaska Airlines has stated that at no time during the check-in or boarding process did our gate agent or flight crew observe any signs of impairment that would have led them to prevent Emerson from flying on Flight 2059. After the plane had taken off, and had reached a cruising altitude of 31,000 feet, Emerson said, "I'm not okay," and over the next 90 seconds struggled with the flight crew as he tried to pull the two red T-handles, the two engine emergency shutoff fire handles, and on the Embraer they were located in the center of the ceiling, and when Emerson reached for them, the flight crew was able to stop him. And then on the way to the back, Emerson reportedly told the flight attendant that he had better be cuffed or it was going to get bad. And while seated in the back of the plane, Emerson did try and open the emergency door, but was restrained. The flight crew declared an emergency with a threat level 4, which can be heard on the ATC recordings. I Googled this and found that the 4 threat levels that the airlines use are: number 1 is disruptive, 2 is physically abusive behavior, 3 is life-threatening behavior, and 4 is attempted or actual breach of the flight crew compartment. And here's some audio from VAS Aviation of the incident.
President 2059, what is the threat level?
The threat is now in the back of the airplane, so we're reduced on the threat level. We're going to check in with the flight attendant to make sure everything is running smoothly, but it seems like he settled down as soon as he, after one moment of going a little bit overboard, we put him back. So.
President 2059, roger. Just as we can report this, what was the highest level that occurred?
It escalated to a 4 for his event, but he's out of the cockpit now.
All right, after arriving to a gate, law enforcement took Emerson off the plane, and he was arrested and charged with the 83 counts of attempted murder. And court documents report that Emerson claims to have ingested psychedelic mushrooms 48 hours before the flight, and it was his first time. He also claims that he didn't feel okay, and it seemed that the pilots weren't paying attention. It didn't seem right, so yeah, I pulled both emergency shutoff handles because I thought I was dreaming and I just wanted to wake up. He allegedly told officers that he'd been depressed for 6 years and that a friend had recently died. There's a lot there to unpack, and I really don't know what is going to happen to Emerson. For those that aren't pilots, here are the rules. Usually it's 8 hours from bottle to throttle, is what they say, so if you've had a drink. But airlines actually might have a longer time period. It's airline specific, but minimum 8. And then as far as drugs, that's a no-go. There are random drug testing, and so, yeah, you're not supposed to do that in the airlines. Let's look at the logistics of the event, what happened and what could have happened. All right, pilots from most of the U.S. airlines offer the jump seats to each other for repositioning the crew members. These are pilots who have IDs and background checks. They're already in place. The captain of the flight still has the final say on accepting a jump seater, and traditionally they will verify the jump seater's documents, the ticket, and brief the jump seater on that particular airplane. In this case, it was an Embraer E175, and I've now talked to several E175 pilots, and this could have been really bad. Some models of the 175, you can simply push the handles back into position to restore the fuel flow and get the engines working again. On older 175s, there are cables attached, and a reset in the air would not have been possible, and they would not have been able to get the engine started. It's unclear at this time which model the E-175 that this particular flight was. I mentioned this before, but bears repeating. This is eerily reminiscent of the FedEx Flight 705, a large DC-10 where jumpseater Auburn Calloway deadheaded aboard the flight and attempted to kill the crew in a bloody fight for survival with hammers and all sorts of stuff. Calloway later testified he was trying to commit suicide, but he was also trying to take a couple people with him. Emerson is type rated in the 737 and the Airbus A320. Alaska Airlines said that Emerson was in compliance with his FAA mandated medical certifications, and at no time have they been denied, suspended, or revoked. Had he taken the mushrooms before flying a 737, the results could have been even more catastrophic. He is currently being held in jail, waiting for a release hearing, and has pled not guilty to the charges. Now, some have wondered if this might spell the end of jump seating, but in my opinion, that would be a knee-jerk reaction to a really bizarre, hopefully one-off situation. I know there is a lot of tension in the air as war breaks out in the Middle East, the conflict continues in Eastern Europe, the border struggles in the U.S. Airlines are at a higher alert than normal, but from all the accounts, this particular case had nothing to do with terrorism or politics, just mushrooms. And I'm sure Just Plain Silly's Brian Turner is going to have a field day with this. You should check out his video. All right, that's the update right now. Shout out to our other sponsors like FlyingEyesOptics.com. We're using our discount code TAKINGOFF. All caps, one word, will get you 10% off. Colton Mortgage, ColtonTakingOff.com. Z-Vision, the brightest landing and taxi lights out there. Marshall Protective Service. MPSProtects.com, and 67 Designs, the best tablet, cell phone, and camera mounts for your airplane or car, 67D.com. Thanks for watching, and check out Christie's report on the John Denver crash here. Take care. Remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills. Take care.